Your Money, brought to you by the Welch Group.
So unexpected loss can leave loved ones dealing with overlooked financial details.
They really can. Our Jonathan Skinner spoke to financial expert Kimberly Reynolds from the Welch Group, who emphasized the importance of preparing in advance.
Death isn't something that we like to talk about, especially when it deals with those close to us. But it can be important to discuss how things will be handled financially after we or our loved ones pass away. That's why we've brought in financial expert Kimberly Reynolds from the Welch Group to discuss this today. And Kimberly, tell us a little about, what are some things people need to consider around this?
Yes, so you can have the perfect estate plan, your documents in place, and what I've found is the small things that sometimes get missed that can cause a lot of stress on the grieving person that's left here. So one thing that you need to make sure is credit cards. Everyone uses credit cards now, and you may have one in your name, but you need to know whether you're the primary card holder. So you may be the secondary card holder with the card in your name. So I just always advise for you to know what credit cards you have, which ones are you the primary, is your spouse the primary, and ensure both people have a primary card in their name. Because what happens is at death, the card actually, you should not be using it anymore if you're not the primary card holder. Also, bill payments. So now everybody pays bills online, the majority of people, and typically in a household, one person takes on that role. And a lot of times no one likes to talk about death, as you said, but you need to know, okay, if something happens to the primary bill payer, can the other person step in and know exactly what all the logins are, how the bills are paid, and that can just alleviate the stress of you're already grieving, and then it's like, then you've got the burden of the bills on you and you don't know where to start. So I highly recommend you just take time and really do it periodically, because things change. Just make sure the other person knows, here's all the bills, here's how they're paid. And then, I always tell people, where are your important documents? Some people, like put them in a drawer, but the other partner, spouse doesn't know where they are. And so just remind them, hey, here's all the documents, here's the keys to the safety deposit box, here's things, just so you're not having to scramble to look for those. And then lastly, I always say, your pets. So everybody plans for your children. When you're meeting with the estate planner, you're planning for guardianship for your kids, but a lot of times the pets are not brought up. And so you just want to make sure if something happens to you or, to both of you, what's your plan for your pet? Who's going to take care of them? What's their needs? And just, acknowledge that, have a plan, talk to your trusted family members on who would take that role of taking care of them.
Absolutely. These are some really great tips. You mentioned the password one. I've seen that play out firsthand, where, you can't log into the other person's stuff, and you have to, go through a lot of hassles with trying to get that information or trying to figure that out. So,
like I said, just making sure, taking time to be organized, because it really saves a lot of stress when you're already grieving, and just really knowing what's going on, because most households, one person takes that lead and then leaves the other one with that burden if you have not given them that knowledge.
Absolutely. So it's always about communicating everything effectively there.
Absolutely.
All right. Kimberly, thank you so much for taking the time with us. We appreciate that. And if you want more tips, of course, from the Welch Group or any of the other financial experts, you can find them at 4 p.m. every Tuesday here on WAFF 48, as well as the WAFF.com website.